Today, we continue the live test of EUR JPY Strategy Number One on the 10-minute chart. This is day 8, and once again, our focus is not on guessing where the market will go. Our responsibility is to define the reference point, prepare both breakout directions, manage every active position with discipline, and allow price to reveal the final result. The session begins at midnight London time. We mark the opening price of the new 10-minute candle at approximately 185.630. This becomes our first reference point for day 8. From this level, we prepare two opposing pending orders. The buy stop is placed approximately 15 pips above the reference, close to 185.789, while the sell stop is positioned approximately 15 pips below, close to 185.485. Both pending orders use the same controlled structure, a 30-pip protective stop and a 60-pip take-profit target. The two orders operate as an OCO pair. One cancels the other. As soon as one side is activated, the opposite pending order must be removed immediately. Everything is defined before the movement begins. We know where the market must trade to activate the long position, where it must trade to activate the short position, and where both the risk and the potential reward will be managed. Price initially remains close to the reference point. The candles are small, and the market shows very little commitment in either direction. For more than an hour, EUR JPY moves sideways, repeatedly testing the central area without reaching the upper breakout level. There is no reason to anticipate the entry. We remain patient and allow the market to touch one of the exact pending prices. As the session develops, selling pressure begins to appear. Price starts moving lower, approaches the sell stop level, and then breaks beneath it. The short position is activated. The unused buy order is canceled immediately, and trade number 1 is now live. The bearish movement strengthens quickly after entry. Price moves away from the reference area and begins producing a clear sequence of lower candles. The trade enters profit almost immediately, and the downward momentum continues building. The first important milestone is plus 30 pips. Once the trade reaches that level, the original stop can be moved to the entry price, removing the initial downside risk. The decline continues through the next milestone. At plus 40 pips, the stop can be adjusted again to protect part of the open profit while still allowing the position to continue toward the full target. The market remains firmly bearish. Several candles contain sharp movements and long wicks showing increased volatility, but the overall direction remains lower. EUR JPY continues pushing toward the take-profit area. Price now reaches the full objective. Trade number 1 closes with approximately 60 pips of profit. This is an excellent beginning to day 8. The setup was prepared before the move. The market selected the short side, the opposite order was removed, and the position was allowed to reach the complete plan target. The first result is now recorded directly on the chart. Trade number 1, profit plus 60 pips. Because the trade has ended, we prepare for the next cycle. We do not create a new reference point in the middle of an unfinished candle. We wait for the next fully completed 10-minute bar and use its closing price. The new reference point is marked close to 185.036. From this level, another OCO pair is prepared. The new buy stop is positioned around 185.187, while the new sell stop is placed close to 184.883. Once again, each side carries a 30-pip stop loss and a 60-pip take-profit target. The second setup is now ready, and the market begins a long period of uncertainty. Price moves below the new reference point and activates the sell side. The opposite buy order is canceled immediately, leaving trade number 2 as an active short position. At first, the market moves slightly in our favor. The open profit is small, and the candles remain close to the entry area. The trade then becomes much more challenging. EUR JPY begins moving sideways for several hours. Price repeatedly falls below the short entry, recovers, and then returns to the same zone. There is no clean continuation and no immediate movement toward the final target. During the morning, the position produces a modest amount of open profit, but the momentum remains weak. The market is balanced, and buyers and sellers continue fighting around the entry level. Later, the buyers become stronger. Price rises back above the short entry and moves toward the upper risk area. The position is now temporarily negative, and the market begins approaching the reference line near 185.036. This is the point where discipline matters most. We do not close the position simply because the candles look uncomfortable. We do not widen the stop, add another trade, or change the target. The original structure remains in place, and the protective stop has not been reached. Price spends much of the afternoon moving inside the risk area. At times, the market comes close to the reference level, but it still fails to reach the full stop loss. The position remains active. This is one of the most demanding parts of the session. The first trade reached its target quickly, but the second trade is asking for patience. It is testing whether we can follow the same process when the market is slow, uncertain, and temporarily moving against the entry. Then, during the later part of the session, the character of the market begins to change. Sellers return with greater strength. EUR JPY falls back below the short entry and starts moving decisively lower. The trade recovers from its earlier negative position and becomes profitable once again. The decline now accelerates. A series of stronger bearish candles pushes price toward the area around 184.585. From the short entry near 184.883, the position is now showing approximately 30 pips of open profit. The trade has recovered completely and reached the first protection milestone. After this sharp bearish movement, the market pauses and begins consolidating near the session low. The position remains profitable, although the complete 60-pip target is not reached. The candles become smaller again, and price begins moving sideways around the lower part of the day's range. As the trading window approaches its cutoff, the second short position is closed with approximately 25 pips of profit. Trade number 2 is therefore recorded as plus 25 pips. We can now calculate the complete day 8 performance. The first short trade produced plus 60 pips. The second short trade added another plus 25 pips. 60 plus 25 gives a total result of plus 85 pips for the day. This is a strong session, but the two trades were very different. The first position moved rapidly in the correct direction and reached the complete take-profit target. The second position required much more patience. It spent several hours moving sideways, temporarily went against the entry, remained safely below its protective stop, recovered during the late session, and eventually closed with a positive result. Both trades demonstrate the importance of following a consistent process. We prepared the entries before the movement began. We allowed price to choose the direction. We canceled the opposite pending order after each activation. We maintained the original stop loss and take profit structure. We gave both positions enough time to develop, and we recorded the results shown by the chart without changing the rules after the event. At the end of the video, we move from the trading chart to the EUR JPY performance spreadsheet. The new date for day 8, the 10th of July 2026, is entered into the next available row. The financial conversion and final account balance are not completed on screen during this recording, so the confirmed performance result from the video remains the chart result of plus 85 pips. Day 8 therefore closes with 2 trades, 2 profitable short positions, no losing trades, and a combined result of 85 pips. This was not simply a day of strong profit. It was also a lesson in 2 different forms of patience. Trade number 1 required the patience to allow strong bearish momentum to reach the complete 60-pip target. Trade number 2 required the patience to remain disciplined while price moved sideways, entered the risk area, tested confidence, and delayed the final result until late in the session. The market did not offer 2 identical opportunities, but the strategy remained identical throughout both trades. The reference point was defined. The pending orders were positioned, the risk was controlled, and the market was allowed to complete its movement. Thank you for watching Day 8 of EUR JPY Strategy Number One. 2 setups, 2 activated short trades, 1 full 60-pip winning trade, 1 additional 25-pip gain, no losing positions, and a final daily result of plus 85 pips. The lesson from today is clear. Prepare the levels before the movement begins, allow the market to choose the direction, control the risk, remain patient through difficult price action, and stay consistent until the complete trading story has finished.